So, welcome to our unique virtual tour to Egypt. And this is a quick video about, it's a touristic kind of video, but this gives you a general atmosphere of how Egypt is. So let me play that video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And this is the Egyptian flag. It's red, white, and black. The current flag is the Arab Republic of Egypt, and it's, as you guys can see, it's the eagle, and the written word is Arab Republic of Egypt, but in Arabic. So So Egypt officially is the Arab Republic of Egypt. Egypt is part of the MENA region, which is Middle Eastern, Northern Africa, as you guys can see on the map and the images on the left-hand side. It's located in the northern eastern corner of Africa. And Egypt has a great history. I believe all of you have heard about Egypt somehow, some way. Tracing its heritage back to the 16th or the 14th millennia before Common Era, considered like one of the greatest civilizations. Ancient Egypt also saw some of the earliest developments of writing, agriculture, organization, religion, government, and many other things. Egypt has a long and rich cultural heritage and an integral part of a national identity, which has endured various foreign influences, including Greek, Persian, Roman, Arab, Ottoman Turks, and Nubian, and many others. So, capital and location. Egypt's capital is Cairo, which is where I am from. It's in the north part of the country, which has majority of the population. And then Alexandria is the largest, second largest city, with the second largest population as well. And Alexandria is located right next to the Mediterranean, where it is the connection between Greece, Italy, and all the South Europe. And in terms of the population, the current population of Egypt is that big number you guys see on the screen. It's as of today, Friday, May 8th, 2020, based on the Worldometer. Egypt population is equivalent to 1.31% of the total world population, and the median age in Egypt is 24.6 years. Egypt is the most populous country in Northern Africa and the Middle East and the Arab world, and the third most populous Africa after Nigeria and Ethiopia. With a vast majority of Egyptians actually live on 40,000 square kilometers, which is less than 4% of the total land area. That is because we need to live next to the river Nile, or next to the water areas, because the rest, the vast majority of the land is basically arid desert where no one can live. So as for the currency, the Egyptian currency is the Egyptian pound, LE, and it is divided into 100 piasters, which is kind of 100 cents for the $1. Languages and religion. It is estimated that approximately 85% of Egyptians population are Muslim, and I am Muslim, I'm one, and 13% are Coptic Christians, and others are the rest. Egypt's main language is Arabic, which is, I'm bilingual, I speak English and Arabic. However, English is widely understood, and also French, because France conquered the country, or like they wanted to invade Egypt for like 2 years. So French is also one of the popular countries, but Arabic is the first one, English, and then French. So today I'll be focusing basically on media in the media industry, since I'm majoring in advertising. I'm sorry I didn't mention that at the very beginning, but I'm always interested in media and the media industry as a whole. So that is why today I'll be basically focusing or shedding the light on the media industry in Egypt, and also the cinema in specific. So I'll give you guys now an overview about the media industry in Egypt. Press, the written press is very diverse in Egypt, with over 600 newspapers, journals, and magazines. And TV and broadcast, there are 2 state broadcasters and an increasing numbers of private broadcasters as well. It's basically private and public. Egypt, as a fun fact, Egypt was the first Arab nation to have their own satellite. It's called Nilesat 101, which allows the Egyptian film and TV industry to supply much of the Arabic-speaking world the show of the production. Basically, we have that dominant factor where we control the media all over the Arab world in general, and especially the MENA region, which is Middle Eastern, Northern Africa region. As for the radio, the Egyptian radio broadcaster serves as both AM and FM, and I believe it's similar to here as well. It began to serve in Egypt in 1920s as locally owned radio. It was owned by a company named Marconi Company. However, in 1947, the contract was canceled, and then the radio broadcast was nationalized by the Egyptian government. So the government kind of owns all the radio broadcasts we have in Egypt. So, yeah, I believe there is a text that's not showing, but there is a very popular saying where it says Egypt is the Hollywood of the Arab world, or the MENA region, because as I've previously mentioned, the media industry is very strong and very popular and dominant through the Arab world, along with Dubai and Lebanon. But I mean, Egypt controls, because it has a very long history in the media in general, so that's why it's very dominant in the media industry. Let me show you guys a quick video.
They were the first to document their stories visually. Their art was done with the utmost perfection and precision to create stories on the walls of their monuments so they would last forever. Egypt experienced the new cinema right from the first moment of its invention in Europe. Egyptians learned the new craft quickly and continued to tell their stories visually using the new invention of motion pictures. The works of Muhammad Bayoumi, the father of Egyptian filmmaking, created the only surviving documents of this time. He made documentaries and newsreels and provided us with the only surviving silent films in Egypt today. With the opening of Studio Misr, Egyptian filmmakers had produced masterpieces since the 1920s. The studios created a system similar to Hollywood. Many movie stars emerged, and that was the beginning of the golden age of the Egyptian cinema. The filmmakers have recorded the Egyptian traditions, captured the events of the day, and expressed the people's ambition. Their work is the collective memory of the 20th century. Egyptian filmmakers have gained an important place in the... They were their work is the collective memory of the 20th century. Egyptian filmmakers have gained an important place in the international cinema.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me show you another video that has just an overview of different scenes from different old movies that were very popular across the Arab world and all over the world as well. All right. Let me show you another video which has like a countdown of the overview of a time. The reason why I'm showing you guys a lot of videos is I'm a very visual person, and I really wanted you guys to see different scenes so you guys can have an overview or a general picture of how things were back then, or like the media industry in general. I'm trying to see how. All right, so this is also pictures of movie theaters back then and now. So as you guys can see, the black and white and the sepia pictures were how theaters were back then and then versus now, where we have 3D, IMAX, and a lot of cool features of cinema, basically 8D and all that. So these are some of the pictures of different actors and different women. I empower women. I'm a kind of feminist, so I wanted you guys to see a couple images of different ladies. All right, so now I'll be talking about different actors and actresses who were very, very popular globally and nationally. So they were very important people in Egypt, and as well they are very important people here in the US, or like they are well known, I'd say, to rephrase that. That's why I got some examples for you guys to see, or like to relate to you guys, Egyptian and American actors. So Omar Sharif is a very, very, very popular and an important actor who passed away. He was an Egyptian film and television actor. He began his career in his native country, which is Egypt, in the 1950s. But he is best known for his appearances in both British and American productions, as I've previously mentioned. His films included Lawrence of Arabia, Doctor, as you guys can see, Zhivago, and Funny Girl. So here is Rami Malek. I hope you guys kind of know him. He acted in a lot of things. As you guys can see, Michelle likes Rami Malek. So he did a lot of series and films. One of them is Mr. Robot. Malek got his head start as portraying as the Pharaoh in the comedy film Night of the Museum. I believe you guys all know Night of the Museum. And he won a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series. He was a younger twin brother, and he went to high school with American actress Kristen Dunst, and he dated Christian Salter's stepsister. So he is kind of into the American culture because he was born and raised here. And also Bohemian Rhapsody, where he I guess you guys all know where he did where he depicted the character of Freddie Mercury. And yeah, this is about Rami Malek. We all love him in Egypt, so as well as here. And The Citizen, he is more, this actor, he's called Khalid al-Nabawi. He's more popular in Egypt. However, he has been in the Hollywood spotlight for quite some time, but his famous role was playing Mula in the epic historical drama of Kingdom of Heaven. And he also starred in The Citizen, where he played Ibrahim, an Arab immigrant who moved to the US a day after 9/11 and all that. This let me see, yeah, this is him. And this is Hoda Kotb. She is an American broadcast journalist, television personality, and author. She's American Egyptian. She's the main co-anchor in the NBC News morning show Today. I guess you all are familiar somehow with that. And co-host of its entertainment-focused fourth hour. And also Kotb is formerly served as a correspondent for the television news magazine program Dateline NBC. And let's go to the next actor. So Rami Youssef, he has been on Hulu for quite some time now, and he was nominated the Golden Globe Awards for 2020. And Youssef is nominated as the Best Actor TV Comedy Musical Award for his role as Rami Hassan on the Hulu comedy series Rami. I recommend that you all watch that and subscribe to Hulu to watch it. So he is not an American actor. This is Mina Masoud. He acted in the Aladdin. So you guys can't imagine how Egyptians are very proud of him, because he acted with Will Smith. So duh, of course you have to like fangirl over how over his acting. So he acted in Aladdin, and we're proud that we have Egyptian ambassadors and representatives in the media industry in general. He is Egyptian Canadian. He's not American, but he's known best for starring in the Disney fantasy movie Aladdin. So thank you guys for watching. I really enjoyed presenting Egypt and taking you guys on a virtual tour and talking about the media industry and the cinema in general. And now, do you guys have any questions?
We did get a question asking, what do you miss the most about Egypt?
Oh God, my family. I'm very family oriented, so I really miss my family and my friends in general. And I miss my lifestyle basically there, but I'm glad to be here. I always embrace wherever I am and try to, get the best out of it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for this presentation. Do you want to introduce what Chef Jessie will be making for us today?
Yeah, so Chef Jessie today will be cooking a very delicious meal. It's an entree meal known as Koshari, and he will be going through the ingredients and the recipe with you guys, and a coconut milk drink, and happy Ramadan if there's any Muslims here with us. I'm Muslim, and Ramadan is a holy month for Muslims where they fast 30 days. And this is a very ritual, important month for all Muslims. So happy Ramadan to anyone who is. And I'll give the camera and mic to Chef Jessie right now.
Wonderful. Off to you, Chef Jessie.
Hello. Welcome back to International Coffee Hour, our test kitchen here. Today we are featuring an Egyptian meal called Koshari. It is a blend of a bunch of staples you may have in your pantry already. A lot of starches here. This is our kind of final made ingredients. I'm going to show you how to make this tomato sauce. I'm also going to show you how to make this kind of cumin and garlic vinegar kind of sauce here. The recipe, I've simplified it somewhat here so that hopefully it'll be easier for you to put together. It has many components. And so one thing that I've simplified is I went and I bought fried onions. You can fry your own onions, but it's just a little easier to go buy them. If you make them fresh, they're definitely a little bit better. We've got some canned chickpeas. We have some ditalini pasta that's just cooked off. You could also use elbow macaroni. And then if you can find canned lentils, these are just brown lentils. The canned lentils work well, but I boiled these lentils off. You just cook 1 cup of lentils in 4 cups of water until they're soft, about 20-25 minutes, and then you strain it out. So this is the base for the meal here, and I'm going to show you how to do a couple of the different sauces and then how it all goes together and assembled at the end. And so some of the main flavors here is we got garlic and cumin, and so you definitely want to use some nice fresh garlic cloves. I know it can be pretty tempting to go out and purchase the pre-minced garlic and that kind of thing, but definitely when you're working with a dish like this that is pretty simple, you really want to highlight these aromatics and get the freshest best stuff you can. So get some fresh garlic, and to mince this up, the best way to do it is just to put your knife down on it flat like this and then crush it with your hand. You can bring it closer to the edge here too. Just really give it a good crush. And this does 2 things. It helps you remove the skin very easily. And then it also kind of somewhat pre-minces it for you. You just kind of go back over it and cut it up a little bit more. So you're going to need for this whole dish, this whole dish feeds about 6 people. And so you could cut it in half if you don't have so many people at home. But all in all, you're going to need about 3 big cloves of garlic. And then you come back through and just mince it up. You'll go back over it a few times until it gets nice and fine. So you're down to this. All right. So I've got all my other ingredients for the sauces over by the stove, so we're going to move over to the stove here. All right, you want to come in closer, Laura? So for the rice, we've got short grain rice. I've got this Valencia type. It's often used in paella. It's a Mediterranean style rice. And so I think the recipes that I looked up, definitely they specified short grain. So this is a really good short grain. Vermicelli is same thing as angel hair pasta. It's just a wheat pasta. I broke this up into little inch long portions there. And so you're going to get a pot, medium low heat. You're going to put a couple tablespoons of oil in, and you're going to add your angel hair pasta. And we just want to lightly toast the pasta here. It's going to add a nice kind of nutty taste to the rice, and it'll look pretty cool too. Turn it up a little bit. You want to be careful because you can burn this pretty quickly. I have my rice portioned out already. This is 1 cup of rice. And I also have 1.5 cups of water ready to pour in, just in case this starts to brown up quickly. Turn it up a little bit more. Okay. Hanya, where in Egypt would you eat this dish at?
So actually, it says a local dish, so you can eat it pretty much anywhere. However, you have to be in the capital, which is Cairo or Alexandria. They have also Koshari, but in Cairo they have a lot of restaurants where they serve Koshari, and it's a cheap meal. It's like $2 or like $1.50. So it's a very delicious.
Okay, so you see the vermicelli is toasting in here in that oil. Now I'm going to add the rice. We also want to cook the rice in the oil for a little bit. This is just like if you're making risotto, you always cook the rice first in a little oil in the pan before you add the water. You don't want to toast the rice so much, but you do want it to look a little bit translucent. And it doesn't have to take too long. Got it up on about medium high heat. At this point, once the rice mixes in, the vermicelli should stop toasting. It shouldn't get any darker. Unless you let it sit on the bottom there, then it probably will. All right, so we're gonna add 1.5 cup of water. Okay, we're gonna give this one kind of good stir. Gonna turn it up to high. We're gonna put a pinch of salts in. And then once it boils, we're gonna move it onto the back burner and leave it at the lowest temperature with a lid on it. Are there any other versions of this, Hanya? Is this pretty standardized where it has all the same ingredients?
Yeah, it's very standard. Just like some people add a little bit more oil, less oil, more spices, but the main ingredients are all standard, pretty much.
Yeah, I couldn't find much variation on the recipes online. There were some slight variations in the type of tomatoes. Some people use fresh tomatoes for the sauce. Some people put more cumin in, you know, so it's kind of slight variation, but everything seemed pretty standard to me from what I could tell.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
So we're starting to boil. We're going to put our lid on, and we're going to move it back to the back burner. Move this one over and turn it down. We're going to start our tomato sauce. All right, so the tomato sauce, we've got a few, I guess 2 cloves of garlic minced. I've got a large can of crushed tomatoes here. This resembles probably the closest to like a fresh tomato texture. What else we got? We have a little cumin back here. We've got a little crushed red pepper. That also said that was optional. Some people put powdered chilies in, other people didn't. And then we've got a little olive oil. So we're going to put a couple tablespoons of olive oil in. And we're going to cook our garlic. Let's save the other half of the garlic for the other sauce. A little hot.
And I'd like to add that for almost all of the, or half of the Egyptian dishes, garlic is a very important component, and we really love garlic and onion mixed with a lot of different dishes. So this is a fun fact I wanted to add.
Yeah, I could tell that they were very serious about how they cook the garlic too.
Yeah.
There were very specific directions on cooking the garlic in the oil and not letting the garlic get brown. You want it to cook and you want to smell it cooking and get that aromatic, but you don't want it to brown. And so I'm trying to be very gentle here with it. I'm gonna add about a half teaspoon of cumin to that.
I can already smell the fresh garlic smell. I really love this dish.
Yeah, it definitely gets your appetite going. Do a little bit of the crushed pepper. We're going to stir this up. It's smelling good. We're going to add the tomato sauce. Okay, perfect. We're going to turn up the heat. We're going to bring it to a boil. We're going to add a little bit of water so that it's going to kind of give a chance to everything blend together, and that water will cook off as it cooks for about 20 minutes here. We're going to cook it without a lid. And then we're going to do a little bit of tomato paste. Just kind of a touch. And then a little bit of white vinegar. It's kind of a sourish, garlicky tomato sauce. It's about 2 tablespoons vinegar. Once this all cooks, as with all kind of sauces, you really need to taste it at the end and adjust your salt, adjust your vinegar, and you should really trust your taste buds and make it taste just the way that you like it. A lot of recipes, there's a lot of room for adjustment or room to make it to your taste. All right. So we're going to bring this up to a boil. Then we're going to switch it back over to a low burner. I'm going to switch it over here, and then we're going to start our other sauce real quick.
So we do have a question for you, Chef Jesse.
Okay.
Is it possible to use fresh tomatoes in this recipe, or is it best to use like pre-canned mixtures?
So I've seen recipes for both. I think fresh would be excellent if you had good tomatoes. And the way to do that is you'd have to peel your tomatoes. And so you get like a 2-quart pot or a bigger pot, like the stock pot here, filled halfway with boiling water. You mark the bottom of the tomato with an X with a knife. So you cut through an X in the bottom and you just dip the tomato in the boiling water and you kind of scald it and you pull it out 10, 15 seconds later, and then you can easily peel the skin off. And then you chop it up, squeeze the seeds out, and then you would use that as your tomato base. And that would be great if you had good tomatoes and the time and everything. This dish has so many components. I wanted to make this as easy as possible for people to try if they wanted to.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, so this is getting hot here. Actually, it's a little too hot. Let's turn this down. All right, so this garlic and vinegar sauce, I saw there were some names that Daqah, D-A-Q-A-H.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing. Is that right, Daqah?
Yes, it's da'a. And this is the sauce that you put over the koshari to give it that garlicky, onionish, vinegarish kind of flavor. And it's very, very tasty. I suggest that you guys, whenever you guys are doing koshari, really do that sauce to add to the flavor of the koshari.
Yeah, I saw 2 different versions of this online too. There was one that was raw. So it was like raw vinegar and garlic kind of like marinated together. And then this one is supposed to be a very lightly cooked garlic. And so we're just going to start with some more olive oil here.
Yeah. It's suggested that it's slightly cooked. The raw one is very rarely used, actually.
Okay, good to know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're going to put our minced garlic in here. On the right and cook it. The same thing here, we can put a little cumin, a chili flake. Now, also have a half a lemon we're going to squeeze in, and 1/3 of a cup of water, and a couple tablespoons of that vinegar. We're just going to cook this garlic a little bit more.
For this recipe, how many garlic cloves would you use?
I would say probably like 5 large cloves. You know, it depends on the size, but probably about 5. All right, we're going to put the water in just to get it to stop cooking. We're going to squeeze a half a lemon. Okay. We're going to do a couple tablespoons of the vinegar. All right. We're going to turn that back up to boil very quickly. And then it'll be ready after we taste it for salt. Just going to add a little salt to that. Add a little salt to the tomato sauce. Turn up. I usually don't measure salt personally. I usually just add a little salt as I go and then finish it at the very end. The salt amounts I put into the recipes are really just kind of estimates, honestly. Because a lot of times, you know, salt is to taste. Like some people really enjoy heavier salted stuff and some people don't. So I will leave that up to you. But you should definitely taste it before you serve it. All right, so this one is pretty good. Okay. It's about to boil, and then we'll just turn it off, and that will be good to go. All right, so the tomato sauce should cook for about 20 minutes on here. I've got the one I did yesterday, so that one's ready to go. And then also this rice will take about 20 minutes. So all in all, once you get this done, you let this cook, and you can go and gather your other ingredients and get it all ready to assemble. This. All right.
Is it possible to use a rice cooker for the rice portion of the dish?
Sure. So you would toast the rice and the angel hair, and then instead of pouring the water into the pan, you would put the rice and the angel hair into a rice cooker and then add the water in there and just start from there. All right, so we're going to assemble this in this kind of bowl and then turn it out onto this plate and then finish it with the sauces and then the onions. So the different ways I've seen it layered online, usually it's going to start with your lentils. And so you're going to get a good portion of the lentils down there. And this will end up being the top when it all gets turned out. And then we're going to do some pasta, the ditalini. Then we're going to do some rice, vermicelli. Then you want to compress everything together in here. Hanya, is this served usually hot or more room temperature? Does it have to be a certain temperature?
Not really, but it's usually hot room temperature in between both.
Yeah.
As for the serving, this is kind of fancy kind of serving, but if you go to to any local restaurant, they will just put everything all over each other, and that will be the dish.
Right. Yeah, I looked. The name is not coming to me, but there was a certain name for the way that this presentation is, and I can't remember it right now. But yeah, typically it seemed like it was just kind of piled on the plate. I thought this is kind of fun, and it's pretty easy to do. So you just build it, you flip it. Let's see if it came out. Uh-oh. All right. It worked the first time. I think I might have compressed it too hard. All right, here, we're just gonna put it on top. So this is what it looked like in a regular restaurant.
Yes.
All right, so then you're gonna do some tomato sauce. You're gonna grab your chickpeas. So the chickpeas go around the edge here. Put a couple up top. And you can do some tomato sauce around the edge.
There's still lots of encouragement in the.
I really want to eat this dish.
It looks wonderful.
Yeah, I don't think it's posted yet, but our practice round that we did, we'll post that video on YouTube, and it came out pretty good on that one. It's got a bit of a challenging touch there. All right, so then I'm just gonna drizzle this garlic and vinegar sauce in there. Kind of soak through and get in the rice. And then we're just gonna top it with some crunchy onions. And you've got all kinds of textures and flavors in there. You've got the crunchy onions, the chewy pasta, the earthy lentils. It really comes together with ordinary ingredients, really turns into an extraordinary dish. And yeah, it's definitely world famous from what I can tell online, and everybody posting about it seems to love it quite a bit. So anyways, thanks for joining us today. Oh, shoot. Lars just reminded me. I've got one more thing to show you. We have got a drink. It's called Sobia. Let me move this stuff over. So I don't know if anybody was here last week, but we At the end, we featured a drink called horchata, and it was a rice kind of milk drink with cinnamon. And that one was kind of a pre-made one. This one we've made from scratch today. It's a very easy recipe. I changed it a little bit. The original recipe calls for rice to be ground up in like a coffee grinder and then soaked in water overnight. I just used rice flour that I found at Publix, and it's really fine grain, and I soaked it in the water, and it seemed to turn out great. So just a few different ingredients in here. We don't have the coconut milk yet, but it's gonna have coconut milk. We've got the rice and the water. We've got milk powder, and then we've got a little bit of sugar. You could also add some vanilla if you want some vanilla. Yesterday when we did the test run on this one, our coconut milk that I got at Publix, I really went and got some cheap coconut milk, and it was not very good. It was really thick and kind of had all these additives in it. So I pulled this out today. This is the coconut milk I buy. Whenever I go to the Asian store, I always stock up on it. It's 100% coconut milk. There's nothing else in it. It's not super thick. It's really delicious, and it is definitely more expensive, but it's worth the extra money. And so when you add everything to the rice water here, I'm gonna add the coconut milk in here too. You can do this with any kind of blender, but you want to blend it for quite a while. It's going to get kind of frothy, and the rice is going to blend in really well. And so I already blended this for a while, but I'm just going to blend in this coconut milk real quick. All right. So this is really like a coconut flavored rice milk drink. The Koshari is vegan, 100% vegan. And then this one could be vegan if you don't do the milk powder. And so I'm going to put a little strainer on. We're just going to fill this up. We have a really refreshing drink to go with our Koshari. All right, there we go. I think I'm done now. Thanks for joining, everybody. And back to you, Michelle.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That looks amazing. And now I feel like I need to go make that myself. Appreciate it. Well, thank you all. I'm going to go ahead.